Aloha, and welcome to the Liho Sports Podcast, the local in-home online sports talk. Today is March 26th. I am Zon, and I'm here as always with Ben. Today we'll be talking about the NFL free agency and the NBA trade deadline. Ben, would you like to get us started?
Sure thing, Zon. First up, talking about NFL free agency, and we're going to be sharing our most underrated signing, overrated signing, and our favorite signing, which most likely is going to be to our teams for our
Yeah.
favorite signing. But yeah, I guess we can just go back and forth. I'll say my underrated, you say your underrated, and then we'll just go back and forth.
Yeah, that sounds good.
For my underrated signing, I have actually one of your new members of your team is Adoree
Sounds good.
Jackson.
A,
Um,
A.
The reason I find this one underrated is just I feel like he didn't get or his signing didn't get as much attention as I thought it should. Everyone was kind of
Mhm,
going crazy when he got released, but no one really. I mean, some people made moves, but it was fewer than I expected. But
mhm.
the Giants ended up signing him, and one of the reasons I think this is the most underrated is because your guys' secondary, your defense in general is deadly, pretty much. But your
Yeah,
guys' secondary is pretty deadly. You got Jabril Peppers. That's like one of my favorite. Even though he doesn't really do put up stats like that much, but I just think he's a pretty versatile safety in general.
yeah, he's all over the field.
Yeah, they should put him on offense too. That'd be pretty cool. I'm joking. But yeah, I think I like Adoree Jackson just because he's a really good DB and he only makes the Giant secondary stronger. And
Yeah.
honestly, I think they could make a playoff run with this new defense and new team in general. Yeah, but I'm gonna let you say you're underrated.
Well, thank you for gassing up my entire team. That just inflated my ego massively. Um, well, my underrated signing is actually for the Carolina Panthers. I have Hassan Reddick as my underrated signing. He signed a 1 year, $8 million contract, and he came off his best year of the season, best season of his career. He had, I think, 12 and a half sacks or something like that, led the Cardinals. Five of them were against my Giants, by the way, and Daniel Jones is injured ass, but it was all right. He had a really good season, and I think he works well in that Matt Rule style of team. I know Matt Rule is more of an offensive guy, but I think he works well with that Panthers system, and I think he can help bring that defense new light, work alongside Brian Burns, who is I think Brian Burns is a really good defensive end, and he's super young. I think that was a great draft pick for them. I actually kind of wish the Giants took Brian Burns. We took Dexter Lawrence instead, but that's all right. I love Dex, but I think Hassan Reddick can do a lot for that team, even if he's not the number one pass rusher. I think he can still cause havoc for defenses, for offenses.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Moving into our overrated signings. For overrated, I was gonna go Deshaun Jackson, but I feel like I have a bit more respect for Deshaun Jackson than I do for this player. But my overrated signing is Shaquille Griffin, just
A
because
bit
I
more
feel like it's
respect for Deshaun Jackson.
just a bit more. I just didn't want to because he's a legend, so I didn't want to disrespect him
Yeah,
because he was good at one point,
at one
but
point.
yeah, he's just getting older now, so that's all it is. But for my overrated signing, I had Shaquille Griffin. The main reason for this is because he was the number one DB for I was telling Zon earlier, number one DB for the Seahawks defense, and that defense was hot garbage last year. The secondary anyway. But yeah, like as we were laughing because we were saying the best cover guy pretty much on the Seahawks is Bobby Wagner, and that's a linebacker. Because you got Blitz Boy at safety, but
Blitz boy.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure he can be good, but
Mm.
I feel like that's an overrated signing. There's other DBs you could have gone for, but I honestly would have signed Patrick Peterson over him. I know Shaquille is young, but if they're trying to do what everyone's trying to do right now, which is do like a win now team, I feel like
Mm.
Pat Pete probably would have been a good like you can sign him for like a year and just
Just to do something, and
yeah,
and
because
plus,
like
I
I said,
think Pat Pete
they're
adds
gonna win.
veteran leadership to their
Mhm.
young core already with C.J. Henderson and who's the other one? Can't remember who the other corner is. Is it DJ Hayden? I
I
think
think so.
DJ Hayden and CJ Henderson are the two other corners there. But I mean, we'll see how Shaquille Griffin goes. I know he got paid a lot of money. I think he actually got paid more than Adore. So I think he even got paid more than
Yeah.
William Jackson. And William Jackson was one of my favorite corners coming into this free agency. So yeah. Well, my overrated signing. Also, wait. I just want to mention real quick. It wouldn't be an NFL for us. If we didn't slander Blitzboy a little bit,
Yeah.
like it's just not the same if
Yeah,
we
sorry,
don't
sorry, John.
mention.
Sorry, John.
Yeah, sorry, John, and all the Seahawks fans out there, but it wouldn't be the same if we didn't slander Blitzboy or Slant Boy at least once. So we got that out of the way now. So,
Yeah.
but my overrated signing is actually for the Tennessee Titans. It's Bud Dupree. So yes, Bud Dupree had a really good season and was almost unstoppable before his ACL injury. But I think it's more due to scheme fit than anything else. That Steelers defense had so many people on the defensive line: T.J. Watt, Cameron Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, all of them.
Mhm.
They're just that's such a good core that it's like if you're not gonna if you're gonna put your resources to like on an offensive line, you rather go towards T.J. Watt, Cameron Hayward than to Stephon Tuitt, Bud Dupree. And I just don't know if he can be the main guy in a defense. He probably can, and he probably has, but I just don't know if he's worth a 5-year, 83 million. Wait, let me double check his contract real quick. It is 5-year, 85 million, which is that's a lot of money, but I know edge is a very important position, and we'll have to wait and see. But for right now, I just don't think he's worth that much. Maybe like I would have signed him for like 5 years, 60 around there. I think the extra 25 million is a lot. So I just think that's a little bit overrated for me.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to our favorite signings. Mine is gonna be my favorite signing from my team, which
Mm.
is Jonu Smith. That's my favorite signing. I just like him. I mean, I told Zahn earlier, I said I like Hunter Henry too. I would be fine with either one, but I feel like Jonu Smith is just a bit more versatile. Like I feel like he's just a bit more athletic. Like Hunter Henry, don't get me wrong, he's a really good tight end, but I
Mhm.
feel like Jonu Smith is just more a bit more athletic. Like
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Jonu's. I'm not sure like the difference in their catching ability, but I know Hunter Henry has some pretty good hands and he can get the job done. He was on my fantasy team, so I know what he can do week in. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no,
my.
I like Johnu Smith with Tennessee. I still hate that I dropped him last year in fantasy, but
Yeah.
we move on. We pass. We've talked. I've been bitter enough about fantasy this past season, so we move on. So my favorite signing, I think my team did really. I think my team had a really good free agency. Signing a second corner was huge for us. Re-signing Leonard Williams, getting off that franchise tag helped a lot. We signed some good depth: John Ross, Kyle Rudolph, Reggie Ragland. Like they're all good signings. But we did what we sought out to do when we entered free agency. We conquered our task and our goal. We got Kenny Galladay, and
We came with
without a yeah, it's like without a doubt that is my favorite signing. Um, I was I'm in a group chat with Ben and a couple of our other friends, and everyone's like, "Oh, the Giants are talking to Galladay. The Giants are talking to Galladay. Giants are lead interest in Galladay." And I'm like, "We're not going to get him. We're not going to get him. We're not going to get him." I'm just trying my best not to be optimistic whatsoever. I don't want to get my hopes up at all. I'm waiting to see. Then I see he's going to visit the facility on Friday, and I'm like, "Oh God, don't let him leave without a deal." Then he leaves without a deal, and I'm like, "Okay, it's over. It's done with." Then I wake up Saturday morning and from a text from one of our friends, and he's like, "How do you feel?" And I'm like, "What?" And then I scroll a little bit and I see we got Kenny Galladay, and I was really happy. His money is a lot. It's a 4-year, $72 million deal, but we can get out of it after 3. But this is what Daniel Jones needs. He needs a number one. We haven't had a number one. We've had slot guys and number twos as his entire career, and a tight end who has bricks for hands half the time.
bricks for hands.
Bricks for hands. That's the best way to explain Evan Engram. But we get Barkley back. We now have Galladay. We have Rudolph. We have Engram. We have Slayton. We have Shep. We could even draft a wideout. Who knows? Maybe we at 11 we if Waddle's there, we take Waddle or stuff. You'll have to see for our mock draft what happens, what we think will happen, especially with what we will get into next. But I love the Kenny Galladay signing, and I think I think it can be very helpful for our team in a playoff push in the NFC least.
Yeah, I forget who it was. I think it was Colin Cowherd said you guys are like the worst division in the NFL.
I think it's the AFC South, but the NFC East is pretty close.
But yeah, as Zahn said, we're gonna talk about something that has to do with the draft, which is the draft trade between the Niners and the Dolphins and the Eagles. So I know Zahn wants to talk about that, all the details and stuff.
Yeah, because I'm a very detail-oriented guy. It's also because I know all the sources.
Yeah.
Also, to get the latest news, follow Liho Sports on Instagram. We we try and get it to you as much as possible. Turn on our post notifications on our story and on our regular posts, just so you get your news as fast as we do.
Mhm.
Because we have the sources.
Yeah.
But the news and of the day, pretty much, because we were recording it the same day as the news broke, is it's a three-team trade, but it didn't go down as a three-team trade. It started off with the Niners trading up from the 12th overall pick to the third with the Miami Dolphins. This is the pick that they got from that Lermy Tunsil trade a couple years ago. So this was originally Houston's pick, but they traded it away from Lermy Tunsil. The Dolphins get the third pick, and they say Tua's our guy. And they trade out of 3 for 12. The Niners traded the 12th pick, a first rounder next year, and a first rounder in 2023. And I think they switched fourths and third. Like, I think the Dolphins gave up a fifth and the Niners gave up fourth, I think.
Mhm.
And the Dolphins move back to 12, accumulating more draft picks.
Yeah.
Niners move up to third, and they can go a bunch of different routes with this. And then I think I don't know the exact timeline, but I think like 10 or 15 minutes later, the Dolphins trade back up to number 6 with the Philadelphia Eagles,
Hmm.
trading the 12th overall pick and the Dolphins pick next year
Yeah.
for the 6th overall pick. And I think a third and a fourth were exchanged, but I'm not exactly sure on the mid and late round picks. I just know the first.
Hmm.
So the way it worked out where the Niners got the third overall pick, the Dolphins got the 6th overall pick, a 2022 and a 2023 first from San Francisco, and the Eagles got the 12th overall pick and a 2022 first round pick from Miami.
Hmm.
After all of that complicated stuff, we are now here at the end of the story and end of the details. So, Ben, my question to you is what are your thoughts on these trades?
For me, I feel like it's kind of, for two teams, I feel like we can confirm who they're gonna take almost. Or we can pretty much, like, we pretty much know who they're gonna take. The two teams I think that are for sure is like the Niners and the Dolphins. I feel like anyway. The Eagles, I have no clue why they traded. Was it down? They traded down, right?
Yeah, the trade down.
Yeah. Um, I'm not sure what they're trying to do, but I mean they got a first round pick, so you can't really complain. They got another one, but I
Mhm.
feel like the Niners. I feel like they're gonna take, in my opinion, anyway. I hope they're not hoping to get Zach Wilson because that's not gonna happen. But I think they're gonna take probably Justin Fields, which I feel kind of I think they're gonna take Justin Fields, but it's kind of unnecessary. I feel like to get all the way up to third, like because I don't think the third was the Dolphins, right?
Mhm.
I didn't think that they were gonna take Justin Fields, so I don't know who's fourth.
Atlanta.
Falcons. Okay, yeah, never mind. That's probably why they did it.
See, the reason I think they traded up is because they're either banking on the Jets passing
Hmm.
on Wilson and sticking with
Yeah,
Darnold, or they think the Falcons or before this the Eagles were gonna, or even the Lions were gonna take Fields or Lance,
yeah,
and they didn't want to risk what happened in 2016 where the Rams traded up for Goff and then the
yeah.
Eagles had Wentz.
Hmm. Doesn't
So
matter anyway. Turned out to be trapped. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
I mean, they both turned out. And in 2017, I think it was, they ended up going with Solomon Thomas instead of drafting Watson or Mahomes.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually a pretty good guess as to think Trey Lance or Justin in your what you said Justin Fields. I think either of those are options. It just depends on what Lynch and Shanahan want. I agree with you. It doesn't really make sense for the Eagles to trade out of 6. Um, I think they were in a prime position to either get a quarterback, which could have been helpful. I think they are going to run with Hurts, but I think getting a quarterback could have been better. Like, I think if Fields was there, I think you'd take Fields over Hurts. That's just my opinion.
Mhm.
But you could have also gotten a really good weapon in Jalen Waddle, Jamar Chase, or Devonta Smith.
I feel like they would take Jamar Chase just because he's the safe. The thing with teams like theirs is that you want to go with the safe. Like, say they needed a running back, they'd probably go ETN over Najee just because it's safer, right? Like you
Mhm.
can't get roasted for taking a chance, so they
It's
probably would
like
just
it's like
safer bet.
Najee has a higher ceiling, but right now ETN has the higher floor.
Yep, that's what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think this actually moves them into a position to draft cornerback
Mm.
because now it's between. I don't think the Broncos are going corner. In my original mock draft that I had that we were setting up for before free agency, I had them taking Caleb Farley. Farley's now going to drop because of the whole injury stuff. He had back surgery. But I think this moves him into a position to get corner to either get J.C. Horn or to get Caleb Farley, whichever one they want. I think Sertan is going to go before that, but you never know. If Sertan falls to 12, they're going to take Sertan.
Yeah.
But I think that moves them into a position to draft defense instead of going with offense.
Mm.
I think they're going to try and trust in Jalen Rager and maybe wait till later in the draft or hope that Waddle or Smith falls or they thought maybe I don't know, this is from the pro day stuff, maybe they want to take high on like Rondell Moore or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's actually a really interesting. I think the Eagles are in a very interesting place. And for all I know, the Dolphins could trade out.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think the Dolphins can trade out of 6th even.
you know what it is for me. I feel like well, I feel like they know who they want to pick because or like they have someone they want to pick just because they traded up, right? They traded back up. So I feel like there's someone they want. And I think it's probably Devontae Smith. Just because hold on, let me see. Who's six? Six. I mean I guess the Bengals probably are gonna draft. That's the thing.
The
Everyone
Bengals
before
should be drafting O-line.
yeah, that's the thing
If
is
they care at all about Joe Burrow's future, they are going to draft O-line.
yeah. It's either they everyone before sixth is gonna take QB or O line. So that's and then after that, because I have for seventh is the Lions, and
Mm-hmm.
since they have Jared Goff, I they were gonna originally I had them taking like Trey Lance or something, but then since they have Jared Goff, I have them taking Jamar Chase just because I feel like the Dolphins traded back up to 6 just to get Devontae Smith. Just because I mean it probably wouldn't be Devontae Smith if Tua wasn't their quarterback. I feel like they're trying to give him like someone familiar to throw to.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I hate all the Tua slander that's going on in between.
I
And,
still don't get it. Like, and
I res-
Colin Cowherd's like the biggest like I think Colin Cowherd's bipolar because when
he
Tua
was talking
after Tua's first start, he's like Tua's a really good quarterback. He's going to be the future. 3 weeks later, he's like Tua's not the guy. 5 weeks later, he's like, oh no, I think Tua can still be the guy. 2 weeks ago, he's like, nope, Tua's not the guy. Draft Jalen. Or I was going to say Jalen Waddle. Draft Trey Lance. Draft Justin Fields.
now you know what got me though is that he was like what was that called? He was talking about how they should trade Deshaun Watson for Tua,
Mm-hmm.
and then I seen someone in the comments which made a good point. They said like, oh, he's saying they have to move on from Tua already when he's played like half a season, and then he's saying, oh, the Eagles should stay with Jalen Hurts because and give him a year to develop. He's only played for like a year, and I was like, what the heck is that
It's
about?
literally the same exact thing.
Yeah. Or like with Josh Allen, they're talking about like someone said with Josh Allen, he had more interceptions and touchdowns his first year than was
Mhm.
average the next year, and then became like MVP status the year after.
Yeah.
So like they're giving us like situations, but like the thing for me is that I feel like he's getting treated differently. Tua, I'm not saying like for some reason, but I feel like he is
I feel
like
like it's
he should let the other quarterbacks develop, but they're not giving Tua time to like he barely played half a season just because he played half a season and they were like switching Ryan Fitzpatrick in and out.
I think it's because of that. I think it's the Josh Rosen effect. So the Josh Rosen effect kind of, I'm not going to say set the league in motion, but it's that same thing with Mitchell Trubisky. Josh Rosen wasn't given a fair enough chance.
Mhm.
And then the Cardinals switch their entire regime and they move on from their quarterback and draft a new one. I think people are stuck in that mindset because Kyler Murray turned out to be a rookie of the year and like he turned out to be really good. I think people are stuck in that mindset that if he doesn't pan out within these 6 games, you should just move on and get the next best
Yeah.
thing. People are so afraid to let a quarterback sit and they just want to be on that rookie contract so they can build that team around them. Like have that Mahomes or like Lamar and like you don't have to be on that huge deal to get to that Super Bowl.
Mhm.
But look at Brady. Brady's been taking pay cuts since 2007.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to worship the cap just for a quarterback. Like, yes, quarterback's a big position, but let some guys develop. Josh Allen looked bad after his first year. He looked really inaccurate and he looked like he was just a guy with a big arm. He looked like Ryan Leaf, basically.
Mhm.
Second year, he doesn't look that bad. You can see the mobility, you can see the running ability with Josh Allen, but he's still missing some accuracy. They get Stephon Diggs. They get a little bit better on the O line. Josh Allen's an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
It just takes time under the same system.
Mhm.
Tua didn't have a preseason. He didn't have OTAs.
They barely have a system because there's no one to work a system with. There's like Devontae Parker and that's about it.
Yeah, and I think now that they're getting that offensive line better. They have Devontae Parker. They're in prime position to get another weapon. Mike Gesicki's blooming out into a great target. Um, and I think the Dolphins are getting there. And now they have draft capital. They can build this team.
Yeah.
And they're set down the line where they can get a Spencer Rattler, who's the guy from North Carolina? North Carolina's quarterback. There's other quarterbacks coming up that they can be prepared for. They don't need to go out for a Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson. Because I mean, think about it. Before this draft, did anyone hear of Zach Wilson before this college season?
Yeah. No.
He was the starting quarterback for BYU last year. No one heard of him. So
My
I
my
think
like the thing for me is they're so quick to move on from QBs, but they don't give them any because like you said with the Josh Allen thing, he started doing good when they gave him like Stephon Diggs. I mean, not saying he doesn't need Stephon Diggs, but it could have been anyone, right? It could have been like
mhm,
anyone that's because Stephon Diggs wasn't playing how he was, or like this is literally his best season, right? Because he like led the league in receiving yards.
yeah,
So like
receptions, I believe.
yeah, oh yeah, receptions. But you know what I mean? It could have been like any.
All right. Well, sorry about that. I just had to take a call because from one of our friends because he's being an idiot. But anyway, continue.
But yeah, like I was saying, I feel like because I mean you can do win now, but they don't like or franchises you can because you know how they want to do like win now, so they like sign players. The thing is they don't go full on in, like say so with to a like and then they could sign this receiver, sign this guy, whatever. But teams aren't like they're not confident enough to do that. So they're like, oh, we're doing win now, but they don't do anything. Like they say it and then they don't do anything to show win now. And then they're like, oh, this QB isn't good enough. We'll move on. And just because
Yeah,
he
it's like
wasn't
the
in,
Giants a few years ago.
yeah. But then like, so then he's not in a correct situation. Then he just gets moved on. And for all we know, he could have been like the next Brady. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, very fair points from both of us. Well, pro days are getting started. There is no combine this year, so pro days are as important as ever for teams to get that last look before the draft. Some highlights from people on pro days: Micah Parsons, linebacker from Penn State. He's a first round projected guy. He's had some controversy off the field with hazing and stuff like that in the Penn State organization. That's nothing new to Penn State, but hey ho. Um, he did run a 4.35, I believe, 40, 4.39, something like that.
Yeah.
Showing his athleticism at the linebacker. He's more of an outside guy for me. I don't consider him a Mike guy. I think he's He's really athletic. I just don't know if he has the ability to cover well, or if he's like, I don't know if he has that full ability to cover, that full ability to rush. He's kind of like he can do a little bit of both.
Mhm. I mean, I just like what I saw from. I think it was Jason Alway, right? I don't know how to say his last name. That did
Uh,
the pro day too.
oh yeah, Owe or
Yeah,
something like that.
I'm just surprised that he ran a faster 40 than the linebacker. That just surprises me. That's I mean I like that too because obviously the guys like the DNs and stuff like the DNs D tackle. They have the strength. So when they show that they have the speed, it just boosts their draft stock even more because you're more likely to find the strength than the speed. But when they have it, it's pretty deadly. It's like
Yeah,
Montez Sweat. He ran faster than Montez Sweat. I'm pretty sure, right?
I'm not exactly sure because I know
I mean,
Montez Sweat clocked at like 4.4 or something like that.
I
Montez
mean
Sweat was fast.
he had to have clocked in faster if he was faster than Michael Parsons. There's no way Montez Sweat is faster than Michael Parsons.
What did Montez Sweat?
No, I think he was a
Montez.
4.4, and then um Jason was like 4.3
Yeah, he
something.
ran a 4.41.
Yeah, let me see. And then okay, so 4.41 for Montez Sweat.
And then a 4.39 for Jason Owe.
Yeah, I mean
Or
that.
4.36, I believe is the other one.
But yeah, I mean you like to see that from a D lineman. I feel like that really boosts his stock because he's already. I have him going in the first round, but a couple teams in the league need a DN.
Yeah, I think even us, we could use an edge guy, an edge present. Like we have good interior guys, but we don't have an edge. We don't have that TJ Watt, Khalil Mack style of player. So,
Yeah,
I think I also really liked Rondell Moore. I think Rondell Moore had a good pro day. I think he ran like a 4.3, 4. I don't think he ran 4.2, but he was fast. JC Horn had a good pro day. JC Horn was clocked at really fast speed. Patrick Surtain, he had good like cone drills, and I think he had a good vert too.
yeah. I know Kyle Pitts
And
had a good pro day. He
yeah,
ran a passport. He runs faster than most receivers in his class.
well,
As
he is a versatile weapon. He is the versatile weapon. I know some people are going to get a kick out of that, but Kyle Pitts is the versatile weapon. That's actually someone who I saw could get who the Bengals could draft, and I'm just like, do they really need Kyle Pitts though? Like, I rather not have Joe Burrow running for his life. That's still my favorite video from last season.
yeah,
Is that training camp video
he's just
where it's
running.
like what Joe Burrow expects, and it's like beautiful blocking from his O line, a nice slant route to T Higgins versus reality, and it's him running from the entire defensive line. It's hilarious. And I wouldn't be surprised if Zach Taylor said, "All right, we're gonna run a drill. Your offensive line isn't gonna be great for blocking for you."
Yeah, I mean you gotta prepare him for that kind of stuff when it's the Bengals O line.
Yeah, and I mean, we knew it was gonna happen. It sucks that it did happen, but Chase Young ruined this man's career.
Yeah,
Hopefully not. But I'm excited for the draft. I love that it's draft time, and I just it always gets me excited to see trades and all this sort of stuff. And we're finally going to be doing a mock draft together for the first time in history. This is going to be the greatest mock draft ever. Some of my friends have been showing me my mock draft from last year when I did my own sports page, and I didn't do too bad. I had like
he had
out
more
of the
followers.
top.
No,
Yeah, I don't get how I had more followers on that page than we do on Liho
yeah,
Sports.
is
I
there
don't get
isn't
it.
it literally two people, and then the one with two people is less. It's like funny.
I don't get it because like this one is so much better quality. That
Yeah,
one was garbage. I did that on like my old phone, and I just found a random picture and started typing stuff. Like
yeah.
this one, you actually see our faces and everything. I don't get it. But please follow us on Instagram, and if this YouTube video blows up, I love you, DKZ Sports. But I think it's time to move on to our second topic. I know we've had many topics, but our second sport for today is going to be the NBA and all of it's going on. We just had the trade deadline. What was it, yesterday?
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thursday. It was like
And
9 o'clock yesterday for us.
yeah, and we absolutely killed it. By the way, on reporting, we were up to date times and everything early in the morning.
On was
Not
I was
because we had classes or anything. It's because we're dedicated to the sport and to the news. Not because I was in the middle of English class and I was looking at my phone the whole time.
Yeah, guys, if you ever see anything posted before 11 o'clock on our story, it's most likely Zahn posting it.
Yeah, it's because I get up before Ben and Ben texts me. He's like, "Bro, I just woke up at 2:30," and it's like, "Didn't
Yeah.
you have class at 1?" It's like, "Yeah, but I woke up at 2:30."
But yeah, trade deadline stuff. Yeah, I mean, I know you want to probably go over most of that stuff. You seem pretty excited for the trade deadline. I mean,
Well,
you
I'm
guys,
just excited. I'm just excited because Woj bodied Shams. Like
yeah,
Woj broke a lot more news than Shams did, so I'm happy with that. So the first news I saw the day was Nikola Vucevic getting traded to the Bulls. That was actually a bit of a shocker to me. I thought that Vucevic was going to get traded. I just didn't think he was going to get traded to the Bulls of all teams. Like, but you also kind of forget the Bulls are a big market. Like Chicago's a huge market for forwards, and
been kind of
well,
on the down low since Heroes.
yeah,
Like,
and I know some Bulls fans are really excited. This is like the most excited they've been since the D Rose days and that team that like won a game against LeBron and the Cavs, but ended up losing the series. Um, but I know that there's that type of excitement with two All Stars now and a young team with Kobe White and Patrick Williams and even Laurie Markkinen's still there. So they have a young group and they can kind of build together now. Obviously, they have Zach Levine. That's their two All Stars. I was bringing in the
oh,
supporting cast before I mentioned the big
I
guns.
thought you did, no, because you said the you said two All Stars and then you said Kobe White and you went over everything. I was like, did he just pass over Zach Levine?
I can't forget the two-time dunk champion, the great Zach Levine, the Timberwolves traded for Jimmy Butler, and then we got the Jimmy Butler practice. If it wasn't for Zach Levine getting traded to the Bulls, we wouldn't have had the Jimmy Butler practice story.
Oh yeah, I
Think
love it.
about that. Think about that. That's a great story. I love that story. But I think my favorite trade of the day was the Knicks getting Terrence Ferguson. No, I'm joking. I'm gonna talk about it because Paul Pierce talked about it on the jump earlier. I saw him talking about it on the jump, and Paul Pierce gives the worst takes in the league. I will say that he is up there with Ryan Hollins and Max Kellerman, in my opinion, in worst takes possible.
Oh, and
But
Richard Jeff.
oh no, Richard Jefferson does it for jokes.
Oh, okay. I hope
Richard
so.
Jefferson does it for jokes. I know Richard Jefferson does it for jokes because especially when it comes to like LeBron and stuff like that, they were teammates for like 3 years in Cleveland. So
I mean, the man thinks he can body Gordon Hayward, but
anyone can body Gordon Hayward, but Gordon Hayward would body you back. That's the thing.
yeah.
But I think my favorite trade is probably Aaron Gordon to the Nuggets. So I think that adds the piece that they've been missing since Jeremy Grant left for the Pistons. They get that versatile power forward that can still guard like pretty well and has some stretch ability, but is good at finishing.
Yeah.
Adds more to Jokic, and it takes off a little bit from Jokic and Murray. Gary Harris and RJ Hampton went away with it, and I think a protected first. It's not bad. I think it kind of worked out for both sides, and I think Gordon finally goes to a team that's going to be like competitive and can go deep in the playoffs. But this is what Paul Pierce said. He said, Paul Pierce is, or I, Paul Pierce didn't explain this in the third person, but Paul Pierce sucks basically. He said, I don't think the Nuggets are going to get out of the first round.
That doesn't even make sense. They're better for the first round.
So he said if they played the Lakers today with a full strength lineup, they'd lose to the Lakers. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. They lost to the Lakers last year, and I think this Lakers team is better than last year's team, fully healthy. But he's like, I don't think they're better than the Clippers. And I'm like, hold on a second. This is pretty much the exact same Clippers team as last year's team. And the Nuggets beat them in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't make.
It doesn't make sense. I don't care if Jamal Murray's not having his best season ever. I really could care less.
I mean, it's not like he was last year. He kind of just went off because it was the bubble, you know.
True, but like
It's not like he
Jokic
was
is
doing worse than this.
Jokic is an MVP this year.
Yeah. I mean,
So
there's so much
I
things
don't
you
know.
could. It's just a bad take.
Like Paul Pierce made no sense. And then it's like that one take where he's like, "Are you better?" It's like, "Are you better? Is your career better than Dwayne Wade?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, it is. If you give me a big three." And I'm like, "That means it's not."
Yeah. That means it's not. Yeah. That's
If
so
you
funny.
need a big three, even though you had a big three, you started the big three.
Yeah,
Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen were the original big three
that's what it was.
of the 2000s era. I know people are going to be like, what about Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman, and Scottie Pippen?
In
Dennis
the
Rodman was a
2000s.
rebounder. He's a really good rebounder, but he was a rebounder. It was a
I mean,
duel.
it's basically a Golden State technically. It's like, I mean, not shooting wise, but like it's two stars and Draymond Green basically. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna get into the who's the better defensive player thing. We'll leave that for next time. Everyone's like arguing over that. I'm like, they're both
It
good. It
doesn't
doesn't matter.
matter. It doesn't matter. Jordan would clamp all of them. My goat don't lose it to Draymond Green donkeyness.
Yeah.
No, but my question to you is what's your favorite trade? Because there were some underwhelming trades, there were some really bad trades. I just want to hear what your favorite trade was because I know your team made a trade.
If I was dumb, I'd probably say Norman Powell just because it's my team. But I looked before we started this video. I looked and he's literally leading our team in scoring. It's only because Dame is not playing right now, but he had the most points on our team, and it was like almost finished the first half. But it's just funny
Let
to
me
me
let me check. Let me check what the score is of your guys' game. Oh, you guys are winning. Dude, I just want to let you know you guys are winning right now. Um,
with Dame out. I mean, it's the Magic, so.
true.
Oh wait, that means Mo
Melo
Bamba.
only has 11 fantasy points right now. This makes me sad.
Who?
Carmelo Anthony, he only has 11 fantasy points.
Yeah, I mean, I figured he'd probably lose some minutes because it seems like we're gonna play Powell. I'm trying to
I
think. I
love
mean,
Melo.
I would like to say my favorite one is Oladipo, just because he got what he wanted, you know, and he didn't really have to
Yeah.
pull a Harden. He kind of played throughout the whole thing.
Oh
But
no, he
I
did. He pulled a Harden in the sense that he screwed over the franchise.
I mean, he was playing. It's not like he was just sitting on the bench the whole time. You know what I mean?
No, but he backed them into such a corner that they had to trade him, and they got peas and a bag of chips for him.
Yeah. I mean, but you know, it's kind of, you got to take into it's literally a 50-50. It's just it's harder on the organization because they rely so much on the players. You know,
True.
it's not like the players are going to the players aren't like badly. It affects more people when the players get what they want. You know what I mean? It has a bigger impact. But yeah, I think I like the Oladipo trade just because the Heat did, everyone's talking about the Heat didn't have to give up Tyler Hero or Duncan Robinson.
Mhm.
So that was kind of good for them. I mean, they're already a playoff team. Obviously, they made it to the championship last year. This just makes their team better, you know. And I feel like Oladipo is going to be playing better just because, you know, he's in the situation he wants to be in. And that Heat team is going to be pretty deadly. They got some good depth and some
They
good
got to
stars.
run through the Knicks, though. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Nobody running through the Knicks. The Knicks are going to get steamrolled in the playoffs. Even if we even make it, like everyone's trash talking the Knicks right now. Like we just had like a 15, 20 point comeback. Like I think we were down like 30 at one point in that Wizards game the other
Yeah, you
night
guys have
or
pretty
last
close.
night.
Yeah. I've been hearing you guys been like losing close games recently because you know, I pay attention because it's your team, and then it's always like Julius Randle. This, like, he either
Julius
makes a
Randle's so good.
shot, but yeah.
Yeah, no, he actually made a couple clutch like baseline jumpers on Bradley Beal. It's kind of nice.
I mean, I'm not even gonna blame him because it's pretty much score through Julius Randle unless RG's having a good night.
Oh, RJ had a really good night last night, and he even like he didn't start off that well shooting, but he was really good like defensively. And then Emmanuel quickly is like the greatest rookie ever. I'm joking. He's not going to win Rookie of the Year. Sad.
I said you guys should. I mean, he's good, but it's Tyrese Halliburton. I was thinking you guys should have took him.
I wanted either Halliburton or Toppin. Toppin really just hasn't played all that much, which is all right.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been plagued with injuries. But speaking of injuries and people being plagued with them, I mean, no one suffered more than the Lakers with Bron and AD. I'm pretty sure they're both out for like 4 weeks. I mean, the minimum for both of them is like 4 weeks or something like that. I think Bron is
Yeah,
like 2 to
something like
4,
that.
AD's 4 to 6. I mean, it's not like it matters. They'll probably be back before the playoffs and dominate. I'm just assuming the worst for the Western
Yeah.
Conference. And then you got. I mean, I'm not sure about KD. Zahn said KD has a pretty serious injury, but I feel like I mean, the whole season. The thing for me is the whole season he's been like, I'm injured. It's been different stuff, but like from the beginning, it's like because they don't really need him to play. It's probably actually not better, but at most times it's better if he doesn't, just because they can't get slandered as much when three of them play and they lose.
Yeah, I
But
think
I feel like
I,
KD
I
rather.
think they're just kind of resting him for the playoffs more than anything. They're trying to be as cautious as possible as anything, just because he's coming off of a Achilles injury. So
Yeah.
that's a hard injury to come back from, especially as a basketball player.
Mhm.
But I think Curry's injury, like I know the Lakers are sucking right now, but that's because they are missing both of their players. But that Curry injury, that sucks for them because it's not even that bad of an injury. Like it's a
Mhm.
tailbone contusion, but that injury hurts so much
Yeah.
that it's like I hope he comes back, not just because I have him in fantasy, but like the league is better when Curry is in.
Yeah.
Like the league wasn't the same last year, obviously the whole pandemic and everything, but with Curry and Clay out, it's like the Warriors suck.
They still
But
kind
like
of
when
is the
Curry's in, yeah, when Curry's in, he's he shows why he's the greatest 3-point shooter of all time. I'm sorry, Reggie Miller and Ray Allen. Curry's just
he's built
he's
different.
that good,
So
but
inspirational.
he is extremely inspirational. But even Joel Embiid's hurt, and he
Yeah.
was on an MVP like rampage before this, and that I think it was a knee sprain, like an MCL sprain or something like that. Like I just hope he gets better, even though he plays for the Sixers, and no one likes the Sixers. Um, nah, I just say that because I'm a New York fan. I don't like any Philadelphia teams whatsoever. I don't like the Flyers. I don't like the Eagles. Don't like the Sixers. Don't like the Phillies. That's how it is.
Yeah.
But I know there's been so many injuries to stars this year, and it's been kind of nuts. Giannis has gotten hurt. Kyrie's gotten. I don't know if Kyrie's been hurt or just doesn't want to play. Uh,
Yeah.
Apparently, Harden had an injury. Dame's been hurt a little bit. CJ,
Today. CJ just came back. Nurk is hurt.
McCollum. Or I already said
CJ and McCollum.
yeah, CJ and McCollum. No, Thompson obviously got hurt in training. Curry's with his injury. I don't think Luca's gotten hurt. Knock on wood. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. Just so many injuries have happened to stars and all stars and superstars and all of that. So I just hope that the league can get healthy and we can see the NBA in its full glory mode eventually. Because there's so many good players in the league. I think even Trey Young got hurt recently.
He's out for like a game, I think.
Yeah, but still, like I just hope the NBA can get back to full strength and be that level of play that we know it to be.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's good about the end of the season is even if they're hurt, most of the times they play. I mean, not saying I'd like to see guys force themselves to play, but you get to see it anyway, just because they're trying to make pushes or they're trying to get in a certain position or get to the playoffs or even the finals. So they play anyway because that's what they play for is the end of the year. So you know at the end of the day, later on, we're gonna see all of them at one point.
Sorry, I'm looking at something. There was a little bit of NFL news. I'm gonna break it live. I mean, it's not that big, but Chase Daniels has signed a 1-year deal with the Chargers.
Hmm, Probably
So
just
they get a new backup because Tyrod went to, I don't remember where Tyrod went to. I know he signed somewhere.
I don't know why I thought the Bills. So weird.
No, let me see. Let me just check where Tyrod Taylor went to.
I'm trying to remember. I can't even think of a team.
Tyrod Taylor plays for
Was it
the
Jets?
Texans.
Texans.
Signed with the Texans. But yeah, so they now get a backup in Chase Daniels who can now mentor Justin Herbert into glory, hopefully.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Is there anything else you want to talk to about the Blazers or anything? Or do you want to rant about the Blazers at all? I know you
I
guys
mean,
just had a good game yesterday.
yeah, we can recap, I guess, with our team, but it's kind of, I mean, Nurk didn't come back yet, but like I said before, I was hoping for the best case scenario, which was CJ comes back and he does well. And they kind of did what I said we have to do is we still play through Dame. I mean, obviously CJ is good, but I feel like we should use him more as support rather than score through him because although he's clutch in the like end of games and stuff like that, I feel like he doesn't get hot until he needs to. So like
Mm-hmm.
he's not like a consistent scorer, only consistent when it comes down to when we need him to score. But
Mm-hmm.
that's a good thing. That's why I say we play through because Dame can stay hot throughout most of the game. And then like if he does die out, which he doesn't really do towards the end, but just it's good to have two guys that can clutch up. You know what I mean? Rather than just Dame or just CJ. But I like that. Like I said, we did what we have to do where we score through Dame and CJ's there to help. And we picked up Norman Powell, so I like that too. We got some 3 and D because we need the defense. That's pretty much our only weakness is defense.
Yeah,
But
I hope
yeah,
Covington steps it up too.
yeah. I mean, he's doing good. The thing is, he's taking on probably him or Derek Jones Jr. is taking on the scoring person, like the like small forwards, power forwards, and the scoring bigs. So it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
hard to because obviously you're gonna get scored on because it's the NBA. You know that's how basketball works. Is you get scored on. It's just how much you can slow them down.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
I
about you,
mean,
Nick?
for the Knicks, we've lost a lot of close games, a lot of heartbreakers. That game against the Nets sucked. Um, was it a travel? Was it not a travel? Doesn't matter. Game's over. We lost.
Yeah.
But we play with heart. I gotta say that we play with heart every night. We come out. We compete for all 4 quarters. Um, we're a young team. We have some veteran presence. We have Taj Gibson. We have I can't say Alec Burks is veteran. Reggie Bullock. Derrick Rose. We got veteran presence, but we got a lot of young players. R.J. Barrett, Manuel Quickly, Mitchell Robinson, even Julius Randle's. I think what just 25.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like we got a lot of young talent. I love Emmanuel Quickly. I think he's an incredible find for us. I see why we didn't take Halliburton. I still kind of wish we did, but I'm I can I can rest a little bit easier knowing that we have Emmanuel Quickly at least, and we have a future at point guard. RJ Barrett, I think, is blossoming right now. He's hit, I think, pretty much every game since post All Star break. He's had 20 points. He's been killing it. His defense is getting better. Just has to work on his shooting, and that's always been his take. Is like he has to work on shooting. Sometimes he's 5 of 6 from three. Sometimes he's 4 of 18 from three. It really just depends.
Hmm.
Um, Julius Randle is everything I never thought he would be. I was very jaded when we signed Julius Randle because we missed out Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, all them people. That whole free agency, our biggest thing was Julius Randle, and even Max Kellerman clowned Stephen A. Smith for it. I'm telling you now, Stephen A. Smith, clown Max Kellerman now. Just clown him straight up. Um, he wasn't afraid to do it with you. You do it to him. Julius Randle has turned into an all-star. He should be the most improved player of the year. He's becoming a lot more reliable, and I'm loving his game. His post fade is ridiculously good. He's playing with passion and commitment. Our defense actually ranks like top 10 in the league, which I'm really happy about. We just got Mitchell Robinson back from injury. He had like 4 blocks in his first game. Love it. But all in all, it's actually kind of nice to be a Knicks fan now. I don't feel like I'm going to cry every single night knowing we're the worst team in the league. I don't think we're the laughing stock of the league anymore. It's the Pistons, thank God.
Mention right now, right, for the playoffs,
We're like the 4th or 5th seed right now.
something like
Let me
that.
check NBA
We're
standing.
Blazers are 6th seed right now by like 2 wins, so I'm chilling right now.
The Knicks are tied for the 5th seed with the Hornets, or for the 4th seed. Sorry.
Nice.
So we're 7.5 games back of the Bucks, or 6.5 back from the Bucks, and we are 7.5 from the Nets, and 9 games back from the Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys are 6th right now in the West, and
Correct.
6.5 back of the first place Jazz. You know who's the most untalked about team in the league? I just saw this. How is no one talked about the Suns? They're the 2nd in the West.
I think it's because I mean we kind of expected it from the bubble, and then they only got better getting Chris Paul.
True.
It's kind of before it's because everyone would slander them, and now it's expected. The expectations grew so quickly.
Devin Booker's so good, man. Devin Booker's ridiculous. Oh, he
He's,
also got hurt too. I didn't even mention Devin Booker.
I forgot. I mean, he's back though. He's off injury.
Yeah, he's off injury now, but I know he got hurt earlier.
Yeah.
Life's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Sports is nuts, but you know what? We enjoy every second of it, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gotta love it. I love the action. Trade deadline, free agency is a crazy couple weeks, couple days.
Yeah, we just the reason we didn't post anything right away is because we needed just to digest everything.
I didn't want to say something and then something happened, and we gotta talk
Yeah.
about it the next time.
Yeah.
But tomorrow too. Tomorrow's a big day. There's some UFC fights. I think it's Stipe, Nagano, Sugar Show's fighting tomorrow. I forget who he's fighting. Tyron Woodley, I think, is fighting. But yeah, I'm excited for Sugar Show. I think it's his first back from getting hurt, so hopefully he has a good showing. I think
What is it?
Nagano
Is it
might.
UFC
I
260?
lost track.
It is UFC 260. It is Ngannou Miocic. Did I say that right?
Miocic. And then Tyron Woodley, someone else. Sugar Show, someone else.
Yeah, it's Tyron Woodley, Vincent the Q. Is that how you say it?
I think so.
Sean O'Malley, Thomas Almeida, Gillian Robertson, and Miranda Maverick, and then Jamie Malarkey and Palmer Worthy.
Mm-hmm. Yep, big day tomorrow. Plenty.
Yeah, but freaking, what's his face pulled out, didn't he?
Or vocal.
Volkanovski, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, things happen. Paulo
Yeah,
Costa
we
pulled
hate
out.
Volkanovski. Oh, my friend hate Alexander Volkanovski.
Me and my homies hate him.
Yeah.
What's that called? Yeah, lots of sports to come. Tomorrow's a big day. Lots of sports. We're gonna be here. We're gonna try upload more consistently, week in, week out. But yeah, mahalo for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. Go follow our social media at Liho Sports.
Yes, sir. Shoot.